Welcome to our series about FEMA map amendments and revisions, collectively called FEMA Letters of Map Change. One of our other segments covered how to apply for a letter of map amendment out as shown and how to apply for a LOMA with LiDAR. In this segment, we'll be covering how to create the map needed for a LOMA with LiDAR using the Minnesota DNR Lake and Flood Elevations Online, or LFEO, application. We'll do an example using an approximate study area, or an A-zone, where we have cross-sections, which we often call pink lines, from a FEMA countywide map update that has supporting A-zone modeling. So our main steps we'll be going through are finding the base flood elevation at the upstream cross-section, finding the 2-foot contour below the building, calculating the LiDAR lowest adjacent grade, which is also called the LiDAR lag, entering the base flood elevation and LiDAR lag in the comment section for the map, and printing the map. So we're back looking at the LFEO site, which we've opened. We'll continue on through the splash page, and we'll enter our address, or an area near the area of our interest in the address box. In this case, the address brought us to this location, and we're seeing these cross sections here, but we want to show the cross sections above and below our site, which is right here. So I zoom out so I can see the cross sections that are upstream and downstream of our site. The pink lines are these estimated 1% water surface elevations. Basically, they're the 100-year flood elevation estimate for those locations, and they are our best available data for the base flood elevations at the site. So here's our site again, upstream cross-section and downstream cross-section. Note that with many of our old FEMA maps, and even some of the newer ones that didn't have new data added but went digital, that the original maps were done using old USGS quad maps like this one. And they don't follow the elevation contours real closely, and there are areas that are shifted. So in this example, we can see that the flood elevation should be over here, further to the east. And our site is on a location that we can see is 20 or even 30 feet above the floodplain, because of the shifting of the floodplain on these older maps. When newer maps are done, they use the elevation contours here and that LiDAR information that is used as the basis for these elevation contours, so they follow the contours much more closely. One thing we'll do before we print a map is add parcels. The default shows the parcel layer off, and you'll see an I symbol with a line through it. But if we click on that, it will turn the layer on. So we'll click on the parcel layer, and then we'll see our parcels. And here's our site again with the parcel noted. And we've got it zoomed in, so we're seeing the downstream cross-section, the upstream cross-section, and the parcel. So now we want to print this so we can show how we calculated our base flood elevation. So we'll go here to the print option or the report option, and we'll get two choices. We'll have a map report and a basin report. We want the map report. In the map option, it will print whatever layers we have turned on in our view that we have of our site. So the first step, it asks us to select the point of interest on the map. So I'm going to select our point of interest, and it will put this little green circle on top of the spot that I chose. And I chose next to the building that we're interested in. Once I've put the dot here, it will make the print map report button live, and it won't be grayed out anymore. So I could print this right now, or I can enter some additional comments here in the comment section. I traditionally like to put the site address I'm looking at or the property ID if I don't have an assigned address. And then I'm adding what my calculated base flood elevation is. I'm saying it's the 1099.2 NAVD 88 based on the upstream cross-section. When I go to print the map, it'll take a moment and then show up in a separate tab, and it will have the location that I chose. So I chose right next to the building, and it's got all the same layers on that I had on in the view when I chose to print the map. My comments that I made, the site address, and what my base flood elevation is are here in the comment section. Now let's zoom in here because we also want to note what's the lowest adjacent grade on the building. And I've already done the location information, and I'm looking here at where is the edge of that property. It's a little tough to tell. So I've done some looking at an aerial photo, and I might look at better aerial photos on the local county site or community site and be able to see an overlay with the 2-foot contours. But I determined that the edge of the building is just below this 1130 contour, and that the 1128 contour is below the building. So I've entered additional comments in the comment section about the lowest adjacent grade. And here's the map that I got. Once I entered those additional comments, I put the LiDAR lowest adjacent grade is equal to 1127.0 NAVD 88. That's because my contour that was below the building was 1128, and I subtracted a foot for the accuracy of the LiDAR data. And we had the note about our base flood elevation being the 1099.2 based on the upstream cross-section of the Zone A model for, in this case, it's the Stevens countywide map update supporting data. So thank you for watching this video that was creating LOMA with LiDAR map using DNR's lake and flood elevations online application. A reminder that we've got other topics in our FEMA map appeals video series. And to see some of the resources we mentioned in this video and other videos, you can go to the DNR floodplain management site, click on maps and technical resources. And if you click on find flood maps, you'll see the Is My House in the Floodplain video that shows you how to make a fermet, or that official FEMA map. And if you click on the map appeals and amendments section in the maps and technical resources portion of the website, you'll see more about letters of map amendments, letters of map revisions based on fill, and the other LOMA related topics we've been talking about. Are you ready to learn more? Under this video, you'll see the DNR logo and the words Show More. Click on the Show More to expand the information you can see. You'll find a link to the useful resources mentioned in this video and to other videos in our FEMA Map Amendments and Revisions series. So we appreciate you watching our video in our FEMA Map Amendments and Revisions series. And hopefully you find the information useful.